Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. It is Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening really, and I'm making some more progress cleaning up my floor. In this case, we're looking at something that's been here for close to 3 months, some of it closer to 2 months, and if that sporadic time change coming from the same company doesn't tell you anything, if you notice anything different here, you got the lime green alpha, right? And then we've got the SK on this head. That's right, this is an SK tool haul. This dates back pre everything that's gone on with, the sellout to China and everything. It was their last steals and deals, which had a disproportionate, kind of worrisome number of good deals in my opinion. And I want to try really hard to like SK, but there's little things that kind of always seem to throw a kink in the plans. Obviously this is a big change now. A lot of people are hating on SK. It's not really SK in this case that should get the brunt of your hate. It would be more Ideal, who owned SK. If you're unaware of everything going on, essentially SK, which is once a proud American company, SK Wayne, whatever you may know it as from back in the day. They even had independent tool trucks some of you might have. They were bought out, I believe, by GreatStar out of China. That's typically, they're kind of getting naming rights, right? So if you want anything SK, I would suggest you buy old stock. I would monitor things closely. For all we know, they're going to keep manufacturing here, and try to innovate or do smart things or improve things, but that's probably not what's going to happen. But I would advise you stay cautiously optimistic. I'll leave it at that, right? By now, the topic's been, beaten. It's like a dead horse at this point in time. So I can't really offer you any different insights aside from maybe there will be improvements, but it's not likely. And that's kind of where it stands. It's an unknown, but that's the most likely outcome. But regardless, I'll try to stay cautiously optimistic. Now, like I said, when I ordered all this, none of that was known. It was, not impending doom or anything like that. It was just man, there's a lot of crud on steals and deals. It's their 100th year, which is super sad, given what's happened. But, there was a steals and deals earlier in the year, and it had some good stuff, and then it was nothing was happening. And I'm man, what is the deal? It's your 100th anniversary. I thought there'd be some crazy, good buys, everything in the world going on. There were some really good deals, and it was kind of, like I said, it was sort of an alarming thing. And if you look back with that, with retrospective, it's I wonder if they were trying to throw everyone a bone, before everything went down and changed. And that very well could be the case. Might have nothing to do with it. I don't know. I went to the website. I try to pull up current pricing when I do the videos, and that was a no-go. The steals and deals are gone. Subsequently, I'll probably still link to these. I'm not going to bother to waste my time and pull up a price because everything's in flux. But without further ado, let's kind of jump into it now. The most frustrating thing when you buy from SK is you never know when you're going to get what you ordered. Things will say they've shipped, they haven't shipped. You'll get, if you order 10 items, you might get 6 boxes, to cover the 10 items. One of the things I ordered, I'll just tell you straight up right now, is a pair of battery pliers. Which kind of seems stupid. I don't really need more pliers, right? They were dirt cheap because, again, steals and deals are American made, and it's something, then you can sort of relegate, what you were using that might be slightly nicer or more expensive to not have to touch, corroded terminals, right? So those, I got to a point. I'm pretty cool, level-headed, lenient, try to factor in everything going on in the world and excuses people may use. When I have to email a company and be hey, where's my stuff? It's for 2 reasons. Number 1, you have provided me no information to have an understanding of where it is, hence my desire to contact you. And 2, it's not here. So that's the problem, right? And like I say, I give a very gratuitous window in my opinion. And stay professional, just kind of hey, here's my order number, and any idea what's going on, where is it? And very slow response times. And then, like I said, you kind of get stuff, and then lo and behold, those pliers, I think an email came to me on a Thursday or Friday. This is when I was working 14, 16-hour days for a period of 3 weeks, and I did not see that email. Okay, I didn't like check my email Thursday night, Friday night, on the weekend, nothing. I got in Monday, and I think I saw it like Monday around 7 p.m. And by the time I saw it Monday at 7 p.m., I had another email from them saying that they had refunded me for those pliers. I would not have elected to do that because I had bought those pliers for a really cheap price. And they're quite expensive, you know, significantly more so when they're not on a steal and deal price. And it just kind of blows my mind that a company that provides no information on your order unless you solicit it would then have the audacity to send me an email that basically said, hey, you know, your item's not available. It might be in soon. If it is, do you want us to ship it or do you want your money back? Give me basically Friday to have, I guess, seen the email and made a decision, and then I get a refund. And it's like, okay, well, that's unfortunate because I wouldn't have picked to do that, but whatever floats your boat. Now, the way they operate, I would expect from when I get that email, I have 4 to 6 weeks to make a decision because that's essentially what they desire to operate as here as of late. And this isn't a knock. This has nothing to do with the sellout. This is sort of like every time I would buy from SK, this is kind of how it went. I buy from KC Tool. If something's out of stock, I have like an estimated arrival date I can see on their website. If that changes, they email you and tell you, right? Like Summit, I bought a very expensive part for one of my cars back in, I think, May, around Memorial Day. I've been contacted by them twice, you know, like saying, hey, this has been ordered for a long time, you know, do you want a refund or do you want to wait? And then, you know, I say, hey, I want to wait, you know, I want the part. And then they'll email again and like, hey, sorry, you know, it's taken our supplier a long time. Is everything okay? You still okay with waiting like you picked last time? Those are 2 good examples. This is a bad example. And like I said, that's kind of, it's little things like that. And that's no excuse of whether you're a giant company, a small company. It's just kind of caring about your job, really. And I get great, you know, support from like small companies that do one-off specialty things. And I've gotten great support from like super huge, you know, billion-dollar companies that are, you know, massively amazing. You probably care less, you know, about my $900 or whatever it may be. So to be somewhere in that middle and to have been established that long and to still be like that's inept. I also, in I don't know how many boxes it was to deliver this stuff to me, but I never once got a packing slip, you know, that like would then also be a chance to update you, you know, like, hey, this item was out of stock and didn't ship, should be here in 3 weeks, contact us with nothing. And that to me has just always been strange. And again, that's where I say that there could be improvements. That's an area that would be very easy to improve, you know. Maybe they're more old school, they do things over the phone. With my schedule at work, I can't like call people, you know, at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. or, you know, before or after their lunch or whatever. Like, I do everything at night because I work and I'm up before and working before you clock in, you know, and there's a very, very high chance I'm still at work working before, you know, like I'm at work still and you're going home and not available. So that's why an email, you know, is my preferred means of contact. I can shoot the thing off at 2 in the morning. You roll into the office at 9:30 the next day, get it, respond to it in 4 days, whatever. It just works better for me. So anyway, all that aside, SK, you know, it's kind of, I like a lot, and there's a lot that I think could be a lot better. And moving forward, I don't know how much they're going to be on my radar, but we shall see. So, a couple of items that are going to sort of be the same thing here are here, and I'm just going to start with these because these are disappointing. SK, you know, when I think of SK, you know, I was thinking like old school Americana. You know, again, if you've got like Wayne, you know, on your wrenches or S&K or whatever, you know, it's been around a long time and it's still there, which means it's good. The other thing I think with SK is super chrome. You know, I think of like the stereotypical, you know, American chrome, super high luster and polished. Well, that's sort of what I had in mind when I bought these. These are, whether you want to call them turbo wrenches or half moon or whatever, an alternator, you know, if you're like low key, don't have a turbo, but it's still functional in that manner. And I thought, man, you know what, this is such a stupid low price, and these are sizes that I would be the most likely to use. I thought, let's do it. And I've had these out of the bag. I think I've turned one bolt with the 1/2 inch. they don't look good. I mean, okay, like I said, you know, if I'm buying from Stavilla or Gador, I expect a matte chrome, and I prefer that. I personally really do prefer that. I get better grip. It doesn't glare as bad. You can still see it in an engine bay regardless of the paint or the grease or the oil or whatever. It works well for me. But this right here is 7/16 and a half inch, which again, pretty useful for me. You know, all your quarter stuff, you know, you can just slap that sucker on. The first complaint is it's no size indicated on the backside. The more glaring, and I say that literally, complaint is this chrome sucks. Like, it's not just that it's not, you know, what you would expect from SK. It's just that it's like super inconsistent, and I don't really know why. I don't know if these have been there for a long time and they were like in a bargain bin. It's hard to showcase it because of the light, but there's just a lot of places where like this has arrived pitted, you know, it's arrived scratched, scuffed, corroded a little bit. The good news is, I mean, it's like cheap enough that I'm not terribly like devastated by that revelation. But again, when I think SK, you know, I don't think of like I'm buying, you know, bargain basement stuff that's going to be slightly better quality. I think like, hey, this is, you know, Rivals tool truck. This is like professional stuff made in America, and that's not really the case. So with these wrenches and their finish out, again, right here, 9/16 and 5/8. So again, 7/16 and half, 9/16 and 5/8. That's going to cover a lot of what you're going to encounter, particularly with a half moon wrench. You know, like realistically, and if you got like some tiny screw head, maybe there's a situation where this would be an ideal fitment. It's like a grill installation, but at the same time, there's a better tool, in my opinion, for something that small. So again, right there, and again, you know, first look, it doesn't look that bad. You can tell it's not like they're super chrome. Like right back there, this is their extension, which I really like and got on a stupid good deal on a previous one. Let me pan out so you can see that. I think if I hold those two together, like you can tell, this is way more matte. This looks like something, you know, like Great Neck or something. You'd have it like AutoZone. And again, just no size branding there. But again, at the price points, it's okay. You know, it's still made in America. Like I said, I might have done, they have not been used much, but I have used them. I'm thinking maybe like the half and the 9/16 were both utilized. You know, not any significant amounts to make them look bad or anything, but I think they'll be okay, right? So, but again, there you've got the big 12-inch extension, which again, I've used a lot of that thing. I have zero complaints with it. I love it. It became my longest 3/8 extension, which is why it's seen so much use. If you watch the Ram Revival, you've probably seen the thing in action. And then it's just these aren't to the same quality, especially chrome-wise, as this one in terms of the actual finish of the chrome or just taken care of after the fact. I don't really know how else to describe it. But again, at least it was steals and deals, because otherwise it would have been a pretty unfortunate thing, right? So now going back to that extension, right here, I absolutely have loved this thing. It's the SK LP90. Does not have the green switch. That was apparently for their first batch or something that they said to quell anger, right? Which, as popular as that was, you think they would have like brought it back. But anyway, as you can tell by all the smudges and everything, this has seen a lot of use. It's been used heavily on the Ram Revival. There's a good chance this is my favorite bare metal handled 3/8 ratchet at the point in time. With the use, still smooth, zero complaints, obviously no quick release. Very, like, this is night and day. When I was talking about the Wiha ratchet, which I don't know which video will come out sooner, like that is an effortless switch, you know, forward, reverse, fast and loosen, whatever you want to call it. This one requires serious effort. These are on opposite ends of the spectrum. If you have them, you can quickly discern whether you like super loose, super tight, or want something in the middle. But like I said, I have no complaints with this thing. In fact, I would say that I love it. And getting it on steals and deals, it's a really good deal. But again, this framing out those half moon wrenches, it just makes that chrome, I know the camera doesn't do it full justice, but it's easy through the lens of the camera to even see, like, this is almost like mirror-like, these two items, and this just kind of looks, And that's how it portrays if you were here standing beside me. So that is unfortunate, but what it is. So another item that was on Steals and Deals, I'm not gonna lie, I was ecstatic about, is right here. And if you note and you think, oh, those idiots, you know, the plastic is torn, it looks like, what, is something missing? Unbelievable, SK. That's not on them. That is what I needed, and that's why I was happy when these arrived. I think they shipped FedEx, which was cool because, you know, FedEx Home delivers on the weekend, unlike UPS. Standard ground, you know, stuff, not like next day or Saturday or anything. Just standard delivery. FedEx could show up at your house on Saturday or Sunday with tools, so that's a perk there. But these arrived, and I needed and wanted the 9/16 for the bell housing bolts, because these, if you can't tell, we'll just go ahead and open them up. 9/16 is the only one I've used, and I don't really have anything negative to say about it. This is going to be a deal. If I have something negative to say about these, it'll be when they fail, and I don't know when they're going to fail. I just know the 9/16 has yet to fail. So what are these? Well, if you can't tell, this is and this is my socket rails, by the way. Like, this is what I have personally. And, might change that, you know, but that's literally what I've used for years and years, is the cheapest ones out there, which is what this is. So this seems to be the better one. There's some of these that they make now where the retention clips are terrible and they don't hold anything. But if we just come in here to the big gun, pull it off, I think you got a feel for the retention there. You can see it's a 3/4 SK USA, but look at that. Oh yeah. Flex, swivel, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a dual action type of a thing, right? So you've got a pin here that goes into the square, and obviously that will articulate across the spectrum. What would that be? Almost 45 degrees, right? So you got, I'd say, close to 135 degrees off your anvil. And then similarly, coming off of the square here, not in the same direction, of course, but up and down, you've got the same roughly 135 degree spread with the socket. If you note with the socket, it is a 6-point hex. So I'm not gonna lie, stuff like this, I'm not sure 12-point would be better, because if you're using a swivel socket, that's just what I've always called them. Call them what you will. But if you're using one of these, chances are it's a weird position, or you need the extra adjustment, you know, or angle of attack. A 12-point socket is going to give you a much easier time to actually land on the fastener. You have double the chance, essentially. But 6-point, I'm not going to complain about it. I think it'll be fine. And this particular set, obviously I didn't do metric. Again, what I'm mainly, with the Challenger, that's my late model stuff. When I've done things for people, obviously it's metric, but I haven't really done anything extensive enough to feel the need to go in and acquire stuff like this yet. But with all the old cars in the truck, which is like a split, maybe like a 70-30 SAE, you know, a metric, my old stuff, it's all imperial, fractional, whatever you want to call it, old school. And that's where these are going to come in and serve me well. So we've got 3/4. I hate how the sizes don't face out on this. That's really annoying. 11/16, that won't see much use. Totally straight up honest with you. 5/8, 9/16, which again, that's what I got in and was excited to get. 1/2, 7/16, and I'm assuming this will be 3/8. It's been a while since I ordered, and I can't see the numbers, and it is 3/8. So, what would I do differently? I kind of wonder if you'd be better off stamping down here. This 3/8 is absolutely microscopic. It's understandable, you know, I kind of get their logic, but at the same time, I think you can sort of see the 3/8. It's right. I just covered it up. There's the 8, the slash, and the 3. It's not easy to see. Let's just put it that way. And I think that could easily have been improved. But, again, looking at these, the chrome, again, not my personal preference, but I get, you know, a lot of people love these, you know, the rust resistance. Just, I think for most people, it's really the aesthetic, you know, vibe they get from it. But I mean, look at it. You know, that's not me editing the video. That's just the light sparkling in the chrome. The chrome on these is phenomenal. If you're somebody that wants chrome tools and loves a high luster chrome, these are great. That LP90 is awesome. That extension is awesome. The half moons suck. They're completely not even on the same page as the rest of these items here. The 9/16, if you're curious, since it has been used and in very, very tight situations, right? It's doing fine. Obviously, it's a bit looser than those that have never been out of the package before. But ultimately, where I will determine my level of satisfaction with these is how tight they stay, how long they stay that way, and when they start coming apart. So, I don't know that I've ever had at work. No, we do. I was gonna say most of the stuff at work is, you know, swivel impacts. It's usually the ball and socket stuff. I'm not gonna lie, that's just what we've always had. We do have like a few freak. I have no idea when these were picked up or procured. It predates my time, you know, handling purchasing and tools and everything. But there's some snap-on sockets out there that are swivel based. I think there's a 1/2 and a 9/16. Again, I don't know what era they're from. I don't know how to date code that stuff. I just know they're snap-on. They're still together. I think there's a few. By few, I think it's a. Oh, there's one Proto, and then there's quite a few Proto, like, you know, impact style that have survived. But for me personally, I don't know that I've ever had a set of these, so that was kind of a cool deal on that note. And I can pair this guy back. It's just been sitting on the cowl of the truck for a long time. I might look into a different rail system for these. I don't know that it's the best thing for a swivel socket. It's actually pretty annoying. Doesn't help that this is the one dead in the middle, but there we go. Finally got it on. Again, like I said, this does at least have the tension with it. So there's that item. Coming up, we have, let's do this. Not gonna lie, this is not something I planned to purchase, but it was a stupid good buy. And I thought, you know what, that could come in handy. So I pulled the trigger on it, and I have not opened it. I have not opened it. It was very tempting. I could have used it a few times, and I was like, now let's wait for the video. So here it is. If you can't tell, it's a 1/4 drive flex head. So again, this was purchased based on how well I like the 3/8 LP90. Apparently, I just put away, literally, like right before this video, I put away a Swivel pair of scissors. The old ballistal knife there will get the job done for us. And again, out of the package, yeah, that's a beautiful finish. Again, it's smudged up pretty bad for me never having touched it, but we'll wipe it off and it's good. Again, mirror finish chrome. Like, this is a good high quality chrome finish. There's a good luster to it. It's not pitted, it's not streaked, there's not spots that are just dimpled and have no chrome at all on them. I don't know how the half moons happen. I don't know if they like date back to the 70s and they've just been liquidated and never sell. I don't know if they made a huge batch and they haven't sold them, and yeah, I don't know. For all I know, those things were done and dipped in, you know, 2016 or something, and they look like that. Everything else on this table looks like super chrome. It looks like SK American chrome. Those do not, right? This thing was a really good price. I'm not sure how I'm gonna like it in terms of it not being a locking flex head, but it was a kind of like a traditional size for a 1/4. And then I thought, you know what? It's got the Torx fastener that we can tighten. I'm hoping it holds up for a while. And in all honesty, I liked that one so much, I thought, you know what, let's do it. So pretty much the entire lineup of their LP90 stuff was on sale. Zero issues there. Selector switch is about the same. I think it'll be good. Obviously, we're gonna have to use it to find out. But I did not have a flex head at the time of this purchase. I did not own a flex head in 1/4. So there we go. Makes sense to me. This right here, I have wanted these items for a very, very long time. I thought they were cool. I thought they looked cool. I thought it was a good idea. I thought I was interested in how well they would last compared to a traditional item, you know, of the same type. You'll see why I'm being vague here in just a second. There was one thing with these that really irked me, and we'll cover that. But what they are, if you think, oh, what are those things? Those make the half moons look like they're mirror finish, man. Well, they should. These are impact sockets, and this is a special impact socket that SK did. I'm trying to think of what they're called. I had it on the tip of my tongue and I didn't want to say it because I wasn't showing you the sockets. Now I can't think of it. Geez, it's the way they're heat treated. The dual zone something. They're half-inch drive, obviously, since they're impacts. They're deep, which I thought would be nice. They have a very thick sidewall, which I was pretty excited about. And they're on the same kind of trash junk rail that yours truly, actually uses and can't knock. It is nice. I mean, I'm not going to slide them. They did include it. They didn't have to do that. But the glaring weakness on these, I think they're called FlexZone, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, packing list would have been super cool here. If I could get this stupid plastic off. All right. There's something incredibly dumb about these, and it applies to their X-frames as well. The X-frames, yeah, it's a thick ratcheting wrench. It's a really good ratcheting mechanism. I kind of still like them. I realize at some point in time you're going to wish you had a switch or that it was thinner, but it's still a really good quality wrench in my opinion. I have high hopes for these. I mean, look how beefy that sidewall is. This is something that should last a very long time, right? Short of you doing something crazy with it. They've got slightly better, you know, I guess it's like laser etching or something. I don't know why the 5/8 is white and all the others seem to be yellow, but whatever. Figure that out. Maybe it's just that one didn't get oiled. Nope, that's not it. I don't know what to tell you. That's an inconsistent thing there. They look really cool. They're impact sockets, but what's incredibly dumb, and I've told SK this, I've requested them, like I was going to buy these when I first knew of them. I would have bought multiple sets of X-frames to have it work if they would have done this one thing, and I've said it before in those videos. Make bigger sizes. Okay, this is a 1/2 inch, all right? It's a 3/4 socket. Makes sense, you know, you have a 1/2 inch drive tool, you're going to use 1/2 inch hardware maybe, and you could use your 3/4. But I use 15/16 all the time, okay? 3/4, you know, you bust out, you go on 1 inch plus there. I don't know many people, regardless of the field they're in. Number one, there's not a whole lot of people that run 3/4 inch stuff, like heavy equipment and construction where that's what you use, yes. The average person, 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2, okay? If you're running a 7/8 socket, 15/16, 1 1/8, you know, anything bigger than that, you know, crank bolts, whatever it might be, you're still, I think my cutoff point's like 1 1/4. That's when I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe we need something bigger. But 7/8, 15/16, 1 inch, 1 1/16, you know, 1 1/8, 1 1/4, in all those sizes, in my opinion, are more than acceptable to be used with a 1/2 inch drive tool. And I'm not talking just a hand ratchet, I'm talking even an impact, and especially an impact. That's when a lot of people are going to ditch their chrome socket and they're going to go grab an impact because it's a giant bolt that has a lot of torque applied to it, hence why it's bigger. And to stop these specialty designed impact sockets at 3/4, this isn't a deal like I just bought the set and I'm complaining that, you know, they didn't include 7/8 and 15/16. They don't make them, and I don't know why. It makes zero sense to me. The X-frame wrenches, if I could buy standalone 15/16, which they do not make, I would have probably 6 or 8 of them at work, literally. You know, I would come in and I would buy them I'd probably buy 2 sets and then I'd get 4 standalones, maybe even more. But I cannot do that because they don't make them. They made the X-frames, they engineered them, they came out great. They, you know, like I said, there's a few cons, there's mainly pros and perks. I think people that have them generally across the board like them. You know, they're oftentimes people's favorite ratcheting wrenches. Doesn't it then make sense when you've developed a product that people like, and people like me, I'm not the only one, there's probably people that want 7/8, you know, or something even bigger. But when you have someone contact your company and say, hey, I really love this FlexZone impact, have you thought about making bigger sizes? And you don't do it, it's like, I don't know how to handle that, you know, like I don't know how to process that. We're gonna time out there, but I get that you can't do it overnight, but to not have done it across all this time is just mind-boggling. And also, like, when you developed these, I don't understand like how the decision was made. The ratcheting wrenches, I come closer to accepting a stop point at 3/4 or 7/8. With an impact socket, I don't know what logic, if any, is applied to stopping here. If this was a 3/8 drive set, well, okay, you know, yeah, you're kind of pushing the limits. You're probably going to break an anvil off, you know, or do something crazy to the tool, and you don't want that to happen. But they're 1/2-inch drive. I mean, people for decades have used pneumatic air tools, right? Battery-powered impacts, giant, you know, 3-foot breaker bars, 2-foot breaker bars, 18-inch breaker bars with 3 feet of pipe. People run bigger than 3/4 on a 1/2-inch drive. I don't understand. And that's where, like, when I said maybe good things will come, maybe, you know, GreatStar comes in and they're like, hey, you know, we sell a lot of these, we should make more sizes. Because as best I know, and I could be wrong on this front, I don't know that they make these in like 3/8 or 1/4 drive. And again, people have these. I don't think people like really rave about them, you know, the FlexZones. But at the same token, it's like, why not expand this? Like, you've done something, like, expand it. It's not like they suck. You know, people like them, people buy them. Make different sizes, you know, like go down to 3/8, you know, and scale it down, or stop at 3/4, you know. And I just don't, I don't really know what to make of that. But in terms of these sockets themselves, getting past the fact that they do not have the sizes I wish they did, these look really good. These look like a nice impact. Obviously, only time will tell. There's a ton of material there now. Obviously, you know, you get a thicker sidewall, you get thicker here. Maybe it's a situation you lost the clearance and you need chrome. But again, I'm a big advocate of this because I've seen chrome peel on a socket. Even if it's bad chrome and it peels, like, it's gonna cut your hand up. Most people, you know, aren't gonna be running wearing gloves, right? Something like the Vibe would be perfect because it's got the pad, which is, by the way, much better than the mechanics version. Covered that in many videos. But when you run an impact, you know, and let's say that, you know, you've got your, you know, bolt down here and you've got the impact in this end, a lot of times, you know, you kind of shield the socket like so to keep it on the fastener and everything. Situation arises, you know, if you've got like a black phosphate socket or something, you know, it just runs in your hand. If you've got chrome and it's pitted or it's dropped a million times and there's like a couple of divots in it, as you're going, when chrome peels, I mean, it's like knife-like cutting surfaces, right? And your hand is here. That's why they sell impact sockets that are not chromed, okay? I know people run chrome all the time, but I'm just saying it's something that could happen. I've seen it happen, and it's why you don't do that. It's just a stupid way to get hurt. You know, it's like completely unnecessary. So the other gripe I'm going to give, if these look like they're like almost an oil rubbed bronze thing going on, that's because they are. They look nothing like the picture. And, where if you could imagine that 3/4 right there and right here, which is cool, they stamped both sides. I mean, didn't stamp it, but, you know, printed it, etched it, whatever they've done. See how it looks like it's a tarnished yellowy brown color instead of a bright white? Apply that across the entire socket. Look at the picture of these on their website, and then look at this. This is no camera trickery. You've seen these gloves in a lot of videos. You can see the plum-colored Wiha back there. This is just like, I don't know if they were oiled too long, if they were too hot when they were dunked, if they were too cold when they were dunked. I don't know the story. I'm not going to claim to. But I know that they don't look as cool as they do on the website. Now, this one, what you're seeing down here, see how that looks more like a, you know, just a worn chrome socket at the base where you have SK and the size stamped. And then you come up here and you can like appreciate the rainbow in that FlexZone. This is how they're supposed to look. See how the 5/8 is white? It doesn't have that like yellowy brown, you know, tarnished finish to it. This is what they're supposed to look like. Beautiful. I mean, for an impact socket, You know, I would not stray far enough away to say that this is not a beautiful tool. It is. This is probably the best looking 5/8 impact socket I have ever held. Now, obviously, I'm more concerned with how well it lasts and performs, but when you look at this guy versus especially the 1/2 inch is slightly less objectionable. It seems like decent, kind of bad, good, really bad. Like the 3/4 looks terrible compared to this. Like it looks like I just threw it, you know, in like a 5-gallon bucket of oil and pulled it out to make it look bad. I did not do that. This is how it arrived to me. So they're supposed to look like the 5/8, and 3/4 and 11/16 look terrible. These are slightly less objectionable. The 5/8 is what they're supposed to look like, and that's a sweet freaking looking impact. Why did I never buy them prior to this? Well, they were super expensive, and there's really not a lot of reviews out on them. But again, giving SK the benefit of the doubt, it's a deal. It's a 6-point. That is a beefy sidewall. I'm excited to try them. And like I said, I very well might ditch the rail, unfortunately. But I wanted to give it a go. It was something that was on my list. And again, the stupid cheap price. I will, as much as I've complained about SK today, I've also said I think a lot of good things, more good than bad, really. Something I will continue to say, their steals and deals prices are usually, sometimes it's not that big of a savings, but they are usually really good buys. I mean, really good buys, especially this last time. I honestly kind of get the feeling, you know, that maybe like upper management kind of knew what was going on in the background, and maybe they were like, hey, you know, we don't know if we're going to be employed here. We don't know what's going to change if this goes through. It's our 100th year. You know, a lot of them have probably worked there for many years, and I don't know if maybe they like kind of overextended the sale, or they were just like trying to be great to us, but it did not go unnoticed. I mean, pretty much, if I'm thinking back correctly, almost every single LP90 Ratchet was significantly slashed. There were items I'd never seen on steals and deals that were available. I mean, to see the FlexZone and the Swivel Socket on with all the Ratchet, it was a pretty impressive sale. I'm just going to say that. I do wish I would have gotten the battery pliers. I want to say they were like $13 because I got my, I was going through my statements the other day and I had that credit. That's what was throwing me off. And that was a pretty good buy for what I think would have been a good pair of pliers. Would have loved to have tried them and had them. It's nothing major. It's almost like a small scale down channel lock or alligator type plier, which would have been really good again for corroded battery terminals, because then you don't have to, when you have a dedicated tool for that, if you get called away, you don't want to throw it back in your box or something, you know, like you can just leave it out. And if it gets corroded, it gets corroded, you know, if it sits there for 2 days before you come back out, and you're like, oh, I forgot to clean that. I would just rather do that than put it on something that I've already got that's, like I said, more expensive and nicer, and then have to throw that in. You got to realize it's acid, you know, not necessarily a friend of metal, right? So that's the biggest complaint. The other thing is just, if they could, I get it, you know, like they might not know and they don't want to mislead people is probably a justification, but like if you order stuff, and they're also on the site, it doesn't tell you like if it's in stock or out of stock. You know, if I go to Summit and I want to buy, I don't know, like a Edelbrock supercharger, it'll tell me like it's in stock and it's going to ship. And if I put it in my cart, I can see if it's in Arlington, or if it's in Sparks, Nevada, or if it's in Atlanta or Ohio, and I can do shipping. I can go that far in the checkout and see how many days it'll be before I have it on standard ground. That's awesome. If I go to that same supercharger and it's out of stock, they give me like an estimated lead time. If the manufacturers had a catastrophic series of events and they're clueless, they'll say contact us for lead time. Again, KC Tool does the same thing. Walmart and Target, you know, it's like out of stock, not available for shipping. It's just kind of one of those deals, you know, and I don't know, that seems like simple things to improve. And, you know, maybe they're more focused on like the tools or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they're like short-staffed, or wherever they're based, Illinois or something. Maybe they don't get to have people in staff. You know, they're all working from home. They don't have access. I don't know. But those are simple things that I think could easily be remedied. And when you make stuff people like, you know, like the FlexZone or the X-Frame, and they want more sizes. Again, it's not like I requested this 3 weeks ago. Like, this was several years ago. And to not act on that is crazy. Like, you would think that they're like sort of planning that already, and they're like testing the waters with the common sizes they know will sell. And then again, I can't be the only person that said, hey, you got to make this in a 15/16 or a bigger size, or this specific size, or oh, please scale these down, you know, and make quarter drive. You know, that'd be great. It would be cool if they did that, because again, that's how, you know, like if you go to Wiha, you know, even though they're in Germany or something, you're like, hey, I really want you to do this. And they look at it and they're like, you know, that dude's right. I think we could sell these. Maybe they do like some 6-month study or something, but you know they're working on it, or they like took your suggestion, or even just if they take it as a big compliment and do the generic cliche return line of, oh, we're so glad to hear that you love our X-frame wrenches. Thank you so much. We'll pass that along to our development team. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that email, but at least, you know, like it's acknowledged. And many, many times when I get that email, something is A, already in the works, or B, I and many other people offering that feedback is pushing it to be in the works, and then you see it, you know? Especially like with the Mopar parts and stuff, you know, there's many times like I've just randomly hit up a company. I'm like, hey, I bought this for this car and I loved it. Have you ever considered making an A-pillar trim, you know? And then it's like, oh, well, hey, you know, more on that later. And you're like, oh, they're doing it. You know, this is awesome. And to just like have something great and never expand it, I don't understand it, you know? But that's just me. Like I said, I would assume the worst and hope for the best and just see what happens. But with the SK stuff, if you're interested in any of these items, as of right now, I don't know that they're going to be piping anything in or trying to like shiftily, you know, change the country of origin. For all we know, I mean, GreatStar, this might be their like big foothold in America, you know, and they're actually going to keep them manufacturing, and they're going to say, oh, look at this, you know, all these people said to make a, you know, bigger X-frames. Why haven't you fools done it? We're going to do that immediately. You know, maybe great things come. Maybe, you know, within 18 months you get like a piece of trash with the SK name on it. I honestly don't know. But like I said, it's sort of like a hit and miss with a way higher hit rate, I would say, when I get stuff from SK. And I will admit a lot of that is like bias from nostalgia. Again, at work, really old stuff, some of it that's still around is SK. You know, SK Wayne, SK, you got to see all these different logos. You just know that it's old and it's still there. Not my favorites, the Proto Challengers. Those are really nice for, you know, like an American wrench. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But like I said, I've had this stuff sitting here. This was helpful, I'm not going to lie. There was another thing I used in conjunction with that 9/16 that made it super helpful. We will have that video out at some point in time. But it is what it is, you know. And if you got in on this last Steals and Deals, leave a comment. Let me know, what did you buy? How are you liking it? If you want to vent, if you're like, I'm so glad someone mentioned that, you know, I ordered all this stuff and they canceled half of it, or, you know, I ordered 20 items, I got every ratchet they make, and I got, you know, 8 of them across, you know, 7 different shipments or something like that. It's bizarre the way they do it. If they would just like, I think the key word is communicate. If they would just communicate with the customer better, I think it could go a long way. But again, that's not a knock on the tools at all. Really the only thing I'm not happy with is the finish on these 2 wrenches. It's not going to affect the functionality. It's just when you buy SK and you spend the extra money to get American, even if it's at a garage sale discount price of Steals and Deals, like, I expect it to look really good. If this was a blemish sale, it's like, okay, well, not a big deal, you know, great savings. But SK does fantastic chrome. Those are not fantastic chrome. The other thing that's kind of minor, because again, maybe once you get these used and they're not as oiled looking, I don't know if they'll all kind of clean up like the 5/8, but that is a beautiful socket. That is not. This should look like that, and it does not. And most of them look more like the 3/4 than the 5/8. That's just like a consistency thing. Again, I don't know what process it is that changes that, but clearly something went down where you don't have white, you've got brown and yellow on size labels there, so whatever that may be, but I hope they work good. I hope they last a very long time. Truth be told, I would love to have seen more sizes on that as well, at least offered standalone. They're not. You get the idea, but bread and butter of it, this guy right here I liked well enough to justify purchasing this. Since these were such a good buy, you know, this is something like you can get cheap ones, but I know what happens to the cheap ones. Like, I've not seen Swivel Sockets advance to the point where the sets you can buy like this that are like 19 or 29 bucks last long enough to really justify the savings, if you will. Like, once that pin's gone and the socket comes off all the time, you have to tap it in or tape it and lose, you know, torsion direction. Was it worth it? I don't know that it was, you know, and it's never like I said, 11/16, okay, you know, that one's going to be fine, but my half, my 9/16, you know, the 7/16, these guys see a lot of action. Can you get just those, or do you have to buy the whole freaking set? And that's where you kind of run into. So I'm hoping these will be good. If you have this set, how's it treating you? How long have you had it? Any issues? Same thing, this I'm just sort of curious with, you know, like at what point did your head get like annoyingly floppy type of a deal. And since, again, it's very weird, typically with tool people, something new comes out and like one guy goes out and buys it and then everyone copies that person, and you know, they all try to pretend like, oh, it's my idea, whatever. You really don't see much on these, so I don't know, like real world, it's kind of like the Hercules stuff, like a bunch of people had it sent out, but I don't think they use it, you know. So with these, if you have them and actually use them, what are they doing for you? Because I'm curious. Obviously I can't project into the future. Looks like a very nice socket. It's just a disappointment that they're not all as beautiful as the 5/8 right there. So with that said, I'm going to quit rambling. I've had a good time. I hope you have too. I'm going to go pull weeds. I don't lie and try to seem more exciting or interesting than I am. I'm going to go pull weeds. So I'll do that. Probably make a delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich with 4-day-old bread, because it's not molded yet, so it should be fine. And I might come back in here when it's cooled off, try to do something else fun. Basically, I'm waiting on parts for the truck. These things have been sitting in a box waiting for this video. So the 9/16 is back. I got to figure out where to put all these things now, and I can't wait to use these. And like I said, let me know what you scored. If you want to share your thoughts on the sale, let me know. Again, I can't stress enough, this was not SK themselves that sold them company to China. It was Ideal. You know, Ideal had bought SK, and Ideal sold them to China. So it sucks, because it's just like, this was like the underdog, you know, like you had Snap-on and Mac, and then Matco, and you know, like they were still SK, and they were like still developing LP90, you know, the FlexZones, the X-frames. They were like still doing some pretty cool stuff, and it's just, it's sad to see it, you know. I mean, it's one of those things, like you always pull for the underdog, you know. But hey, you know, like I said, I'm not super optimistic, but I'm trying to like kind of like, well, maybe they'll improve some things, and then just not be shocked when it doesn't happen. But it might, and that's what I will hope for. So hopefully, you know, they see like, hey, you know, this is like an underdog company. It's got SK, really, like when you consider it from an outside perspective, like it's almost like a niche following, right? They've got like the cult type of fervor to them at times. And you can make money off of that, like develop new stuff. You want to really tick people off and shock them, keep production in America, you know, find ways to lower the price point, you know, get it. Are you going to get it branded out, you know, to Home Depot, or are you going to get it on the trucks, or are you going to go online and open an Amazon store, you know, and people can have SK premium American made tools in their hands in 2 days. There's a lot of things you could do. I don't know that it will happen, but it's you got to think, like, if you bought SK, what would you do? And that's something they could do, although they probably won't. They might. And until the, you know, proverbial shit hits the fan, we're just gonna hope for the best. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on all this stuff, and I cannot wait to show you what I paired with this 9/16. I've had a lot of requests for a video from this particular brand, and I gotta say, I was blown away by it. And it's a funny story, interesting story, It's a freaking amazing tool that we can get to showcase there. So that's all I'm going to say. You can probably figure out what might go with the 9/16 swivel socket, but if you got any speculated ideas, you know, feel free to leave them below. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. Before I go, if you're looking for SK stuff, you know, like I said, you don't know if it's going to be super shady and cheap Chinese stuff. It's going to have the SK name on it, whatever. Harry J. Epstein, which I've done like I think 1 or 2 tool hauls from them. I bought from them a couple more times I haven't made videos on. They will have SK stuff, new old stock, and like, you know, currently ordered stuff. They would probably be a source if you wanted to be audacious enough to say, I only want American, which that's currently all that's available as far as I know. They could probably get it for you. It might even be a good chunk cheaper than the SK website. It will be interesting. What I've been waiting to see is if they come out with another Steals and Deals. I don't know that they're going to, but you would think for the 100th year, like, something. It's just a really sad story when you get down to it. But anyway, you know the drill. LoneStarMopars.com is a website. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. You can follow us wherever you prefer. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on all this mess. If you subscribe, ring the bell, and jump your charger across the creek, YouTube just might notify you of new videos. Otherwise, automotive stuff we shoot for Wednesday. Tool content we try to do Saturdays. So hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. I can't wait to actually use these, and I'm actually kind of excited about having a flex head quarter. Lack of locking, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. We're going to find out, but it was cheap enough I didn't really care. So with that said, thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here for more from the shop.